Good day. I am Apple Grace Ocampo, and today we are going to tackle about the layers of business environment. The layers of business environment categorizes the business complex world into four basic levels. The first is the macro environment, the second is the industry or sector, the third is the competitors, and then the fourth is the organization. The macro environment ranks the highest level, consisting of the general and global or national factors which might influence the lower layers in economic activities. Pestle framework is favored in this condition to grasp a whole picture of the market. Pestle framework is composed of the following ingredients. The first is the politics, the rule of state and political forces. The second is the economics, macroeconomic factors such as exchange rates, business cycles, and differential economic growth rate, and the GDP. Next is social factors such as cultures, demographics, religions, and etc. Next is the technology. Internet revolutionizes series of industries, for instance, the retailing and financial services sectors. Next is the ecological concerns, such as pollution, waste, climate changes, and certain environmental issues are calling for more and stricter regulations in a way that promote and or limit the investment and development of the industries. And then the next is the legal factor, such as policies, regulations, or regulatory guidances that could influence the structure of the market. So let's proceed to the industry or sector. With a group of companies producing the same products and services can be analyzed based on Porter's five forces framework. First is the threat of entry, threat of substitutes, power of buyers, power of suppliers, and an extent of rivalry between competitors. So, so let's first discuss the extent of rivalry between competitors. So the Porter's five forces looks at the number and strength of your competitors. Consider how many rivals you have, who they are, and how the quality of their products compares with yours. So in an industry where rivalry is intense, the company attracts customers by cutting prices aggressively and launching high impact market campaigns. This can make it easy for suppliers and buyers to go elsewhere if they feel that they're not getting a good deal from you. Let's say, for example, if you were setting up a haulage business, you'd likely be entering a crowded market. So you have to consider many potential rivals, how much they change, and whether they were able to discount deeply. You'd also need to think about the resources you might be setting up to compete with international logistics companies as well as competitors as well as local competitors. Remember that at this point the analysis should focus on your potential rivals. Only start thinking about your own offer when you've got your data together on the competition. And then the second is the supplier power. Suppliers gain power if they can increase their prices easily or reduce the quality of their products. If your suppliers are the only one who can supply a particular service, then they have considerable supplier power. Even if you can switch suppliers, you need to consider how expensive it would be to do so. The more suppliers you have to choose from, the easier it will be to switch a cheaper alternative. But if there are fewer suppliers and you rely heavily on them, the stronger their position and their ability to charge you more. So this can impact your profitability. So let's say for example, um, let's say your business idea was to manufacture electronic devices. So you'd have to assess your supply options for a range of specialist components. So if one supplier dominated the components market, then they could raise their prices without worrying about their own competitors. This might affect the viability of your product. So the next is power of buyers. So if the number of buyers is low compared to the number of suppliers in an industry, then they have what's known as buyer power. So this means they may find it easy to switch to new, cheaper competitors, which can ultimately drive down prices. Let's say, for example, buyer power is a significant factor in food retail. Think of a large supermarkets that operate in crowded, highly competitive market. This market has changed dramatically with the arrival of cheap, no-frills food, discounters, and then shoppers have strong buyer power here. That's why supermarkets have coupon schemes, loyalty cards, and aggressive discounting to capture the largest share of buyers. So we have example store here in Dapitan, which is the Prince and the Valsur. They offer a loyalty card to the customers. So this organization is torn have strong buyer power with their own suppliers, using their influence to drive down the cost of food at the manufacturing level. So the first is the threat of substitutes. This refers to the likelihood of your customers finding a different way of doing what you do. It could be cheaper or better or both. The threat of substitution rises when customers find it easy to switch to another product or when a new undesirable product enters the market unexpectedly. Let's say, for example, if your organization makes medical instruments, you may find your position being threatened by the rise of 3D printing. This enables instruments to be made from a wide range of materials, sometimes at a fraction of the cost of traditional methods. If a competitor gets it right, it can weaken your position and threaten your profitability. The fifth is the threat of entry. Your position can be affected by potential rivals' ability to enter your market. If it takes little money and effort to enter your market and compete effectively, or if you have little protection of your key technologies, then rivals can quickly enter your market and weaken your position. However, if you have strong and durable barriers to entry, then you can preserve a favorable position and take fair advantage of it. These barriers can include complex distribution networks, high starting capital costs, and difficulties in finding suppliers who are not already committed to competitors. Through the five forces analysis, it is likely to generate an overview of the competitors, the industry's growth rate, the competitive advantages, their level of entry and exit barriers, and reacts in response to the market fluctuations and conduct differentiations, strategies, or business decisions. That would be all. Thank you.